Breaking news tonight. Senators Elizabeth Warren, Representative Jamie Raskin, and Senator Adam Schiff plan to launch an investigation on whether President Donald J. Trump purposely and maliciously tanked the U.S. economy in order to enrich his billionaire buddies. President Trump fires the military medical person that forced U.S. military troops to get an unwanted COVID vaccine. Plus, China's economy is in danger and much, much more. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. There's a lot to get through tonight, so let's jump right in. The Trump administration is continuing its sweep of deep-rooted bureaucracy, ousting the senior CIA official behind Biden's military COVID-19 vaccine mandate in its latest move to clean the swamp in D.C. According to Breitbart News and their source, Terry Adeniram was fired for her role in pressuring U.S. service members to choose between taking a vaccine authorized only for emergency use or facing military discharge. About a month after then Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the vaccine mandate, Adeniram sent a memo directing DoD healthcare providers to treat Pfizer's BioNTech vaccine as interchangeable with the FDA-approved version called Comirnaty. Her memo stated, per FDA guidance, these two vaccines are interchangeable, and DoD healthcare providers should use dose distributed under EUA to administer the vaccination series as if the dose were licensed vaccines. Consistent with the FDA, DoD healthcare providers will use both BioNTech and Comirnaty on service members. So basically, Trump is like, you can't just force a vaccine on people and you're fired. So they've now been fired. By the way, let me know over in the comments tonight, where are you watching from? I always like hearing that. All right, switching gears to the U.S. trade situation. President Trump announced a 90-day freeze on tariffs for most nations except for China, signaling a targeted shift in his economic strategy. The stock market reacted well. Trump said, based on the lack of disrespect that China has shown the world market, I hereby raise tariffs to China by the United States to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the United States and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States in order to negotiate, therefore, I authorize a 90-day pause. What happened? The stock market shot up by 10% in what was called one of the best days in the stock market. The question is, will that optimism hold? I don't really know. All right. This is crazy, but Democrats are crazy. Trump is now being targeted for possibly manipulating the stock market in order to enrich his family and friends. Here's what's happening. Democrat lawmaker Adam Schiff and Senator Elizabeth Warren are stirring up trouble in Washington, D.C. They're accusing President Trump of purposely and maliciously tanking the U.S. economy in order to line the pockets of his family and billionaire buddies. But Republicans aren't buying it. Voters aren't buying it. They're firmly standing behind President Trump's economic playbook. GOP leaders say Trump's tariff policies, including his recent decision to pause most levies, are about to bring jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs, flooding back into the United States and sticking it to countries that have taken advantage of America for years. The market goes up, the market goes down. Just growing pains as the economy adjusts to the new pro-America agenda set forth by President Trump. Here's what they're saying. Trump says, I'm going to put these tariffs on. The stock market had day after day after day of losses as people felt uncomfortable, as there was possible tanking the market in order to put pressure on President Trump. He then posted on Truth Social, it's a great time to buy. trying to spread optimism that everything is going to work out. Well, it did. The S&P 500 bounced back almost 10% and had one of its best days ever. Republicans called the Democrats' investigation demand the new witch hunt, with no proof whatsoever to back up their claims that the Trump family or the Trump organization or Trump's billionaire buddies enriched themselves in any way. They remind voters Trump ran on tariffs. This is nothing new. This is not out of the blue. Americans specifically chose him to close down the border and to make America great again, make America rich again, make America safe again. Now, instead of pointing fingers, the GOP says that Adam Schiff and Elizabeth Warren should answer for the inflation mess that they caused under Biden's direction. Trump is focused on making America strong again. This means jobs, pay increases, but Adam Schiff and Elizabeth Warren are saying, no, no, no. You watch. This investigation is going to prove that Donald J. Trump manipulated the stock market to enrich his friends. Let's go ahead and watch this together, and you can hear exactly from them what they are accusing Trump of, not just what Stephen Gardner has to say. Let me go ahead and run that. Here we go.
Donald Trump is trashing our economy. First, Donald Trump imposed across-the-board tariffs. Then, just a few hours ago, he dropped those tariffs to 10% on everyone and moved the tariffs up to 125% on China, up from 105% yesterday. Now, there's confusion, there's chaos. No one knows what the tariffs will be tomorrow or the next day or next week or next month. But here's what we do know. Are prices still going up? Yes. Are businesses still wary about investing? Yes. Are millions of working people still worried about their jobs and millions of small businesses still worried about closing shop? Yes. And right before Donald Trump declared that some of his tariffs were off again, he sent out a message to his billionaire buddies. He posted, "This is a great time to buy," in all caps. Was that market manipulation? Was it corruption in plain sight? We need an independent investigation into market manipulation because Americans need to know whether President Trump or anyone in his administration manipulated the market to benefit their donors, all while they are working for the American people and while small businesses and those working families are paying a price. It's a disaster. But here's the thing. Republicans in Congress have a chance to stop him right now. If they do nothing, they, along with Trump, are responsible for the fallout. Congress could end this dangerous trade war right now by passing my bipartisan resolution with Senator Ron Wyden to turn off the fake emergency authority that Donald Trump is using to impose his worldwide and chaotic tariffs. So I have a simple question for the Senate. Why aren't we passing this resolution this instant?
All right. Well, and I have a question for my community. Do you believe that President Donald J. Trump purposely and maliciously tanked the stock market in order to enrich his family and his billionaire buddies? Or did he run on this for 18 months and tell everybody that he was going to put pressure on the rest of the world to quit ripping off the United States of America? I trust Donald J. Trump way more than I trust Elizabeth Warren. And you see what she did there at the end? What she's really trying to do is she's trying to take back the power that he has as president. She knows that this wasn't like turning on the bat signal for billionaires. Oh, there it is. He pulled the ace out of his sleeve. Now we know to go and buy those stocks. This is such BS. She is such a liar. All right, now let me show you what Adam Schiff had to say about this because you guys are not going to believe what this guy had to say.
So today, Trump removed many of the tariffs he had imposed in this on again, off again, it must be Wednesday, tariffs are off again kind of policy. This has just wreaked havoc on the markets, of course, but there is another profound danger as well, and that is insider trading within the White House, within the administration. You may have seen early in the day Trump tweet this. Yeah, this is a good time to buy. So the question is, between that tweet and Donald Trump's announcement that he was reducing the tariffs on most other nations apart from China, the question is, who knew what the president was going to do? And did people around the president trade stock knowing the incredible gyration the market was about to go through? Because look, this is a president who is trading in his own meme coin, even as he's president. His kids are trading in their own cryptocurrency. You've got people like Elon Musk who are doing their own conflicted self-dealing in the administration. In any administration this corrupt, it is more than necessary to ask, were people personally profiting from insider information while people's savings, their retirement accounts, were being torched? So we're writing to the White House to demand answers. Now, I am fully cognizant of the fact that the White House is probably the last place to be forthcoming about this or any other corruption in the administration. We in Congress need to do more than demand answers. We need to do the oversight necessary to get those answers. To date, Republicans have not been willing to do this, not when it comes to insider trading, potentiality, not when it comes to anything. But we have been very fortunate in the minority that so many whistleblowers have come forward with information about corruption in the administration. Just a few days ago, I held a hearing with people who had to quit the Justice Department, were fired at the Justice Department because they were observing corrupt activity that they would not participate in. We have tremendously benefited from courageous people coming forward. So we invite whistleblowers to step forward. But at the end of the day, we're going to get to the bottom of this, whether people were profiting off the pain of the American people.
Okay, so there you have it, from the horse's mouth directly. So they're going to try to set up a shadow government, use their authority on different committees, try to rally the votes to stop, to investigate whether the sitting president purposely and maliciously manipulated the stock market in order to enrich who? Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka. I like how Shifty Schiff, the senator who serves with Nancy Pelosi, he's not at all concerned that somebody with a $200,000 a year salary has a net worth of $200 million, but a billionaire who lost money becoming president is suddenly the dangerous one. They're doing the insider trading. So again, whatever Democrats say Republicans are doing, it's the Democrats that are actually doing it. Now, let me know in the comments, do you trust Donald Trump or Adam Schiff more? You guys already know where my allegiance stands. But so I wanted to bring this to your attention. Jamie Raskin, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, they are setting up a shadow government. They're launching an investigation into whether President Trump tanked the economy in order to enrich his friends. My guess is they're going to find nothing because, first off, Trump doesn't control the stock market. And second, the stock market isn't the U.S. economy. It's just where rich people with extra money park that money in order to beat inflation. But these guys, I think they're wasting taxpayer money. They're wasting time. All right, now I have some other big corruption stories to share. Democrats voting to waste your money on terrorists, and robots are heading to space, says Elon Musk. Now, the stock market was all over the place last week, but you know what stayed true and steady? Gold and silver. Trump's return is set to usher in a new golden age, but growing trade tension and China's ruthless attack on the U.S. dollar has rattled the markets. That's why Warren Buffett just dumped $133 billion in stocks. Jeff Bezos, Larry Page, even Jamie Dimon over at Chase Bank dumped billions of dollars of stock. That's why thousands of informed IRA and 401k savers are now shielding their savings with gold. And the experts at Colonial Metal Groups are the folks I trust to do the educating so that you can understand the power of this incredible opportunity. Now, even the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, has warned that Trump is doing a good job, but the markets are overinflated and to be very careful. Now, I want you to go to 800-807-2143. Give them a call. Learn more about gold and silver. I own gold. I own silver. I plan to buy more. When I first started buying under Biden, it was $1,600. It went to over $3,000. And think about it. 20 years from now, what's going to be worth more, gold or the dollar? I love Trump, but the past presidents and the past Congress have gotten us into a terrible situation. So click the QR code or go to colonialmetals.com/Stephen-Gardner or give them a call at 800-807-2143. All right. President Trump's tariffs on China now exceed 140%. He is hammering Beijing's economy, targeting its export-driven growth. Without selling outside of China, China collapses. Their population is just too big. They have to sell to America and other parts of the world or they collapse. Aimed at curbing trade deficit and protecting American jobs, these levies hit Chinese goods like electronics, clothing, spiking prices and squeezing manufacturers and factories. China's retaliatory 84% tariff on U.S. goods escalates tension, but Trump's strategy bet on America's economic leverage will win in the end. America is the biggest economy. Not only are we the biggest economy, but we are the economy that spends. Nobody spends money like Americans. Now, that could be good or bad, but that is the truth. That is reality. So China is very nervous. And I read today that China has now sent word to President Trump and the Oval Office that they would like to get together and find a deal that is fair and also a deal that doesn't humiliate China. So I believe that President Trump has played this very smartly, and he's going to do very well for America. If anything, he has been purposely hammering China for the benefit of America. He has not been hammering the stock market to benefit Don Jr., as Adam Schiff wants you to believe. All right, now, as President Trump continues fighting the imbalance of power, Democrats have seemingly just exposed themselves for supporting the misuse and abuse of American taxpayer money. Over on X, Representative Tim Burchett, who's been on my show 4 or 5 times, claimed that in a closed-door meeting, every Democrat voted against the No Tax Dollars for Terrorists bill, which aims to stop the $40 million of American taxpayer money that is flown to the Taliban every week. Let me know in the comments, how does that make you feel? It really pisses me off. Like, they're going to hit me with all of this tax money, and then they're just going to continue to fly it to the Taliban, a terrorist organization that abuses children and women, that degrades women. This is infuriating. So I just want to be really clear. Every single Democrat voted to continue to send your money to terrorists in the Taliban. It's absolute craziness. It's craziness. Grandma of Many says, it pisses me off too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. So anyway, Thanks, Tom Sanchez, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. So the bill passed by the House Foreign Affairs Committee addresses cash shipments to Afghanistan's Taliban-controlled central bank, which is then auctioned to the highest group in the Haqqani network. This was exposed by a CIA agent over on the Sean Ryan podcast. At first, nobody believed it. What president would authorize $40 million, pallets of cash, to be flown every single week like clockwork to a terrorist organization? That's over $5 billion that has been sent since we pulled out of Afghanistan. So we hightail it out of there. We leave $85 billion of military equipment, and then we secretly fly them $5 billion since 2021. It's crazy. And then according to Tim Burchett, who was in the room, every single Democrat voted to keep sending the Taliban money. I don't know what to think of it. I really don't. Like, I'm just a guy on the internet that pays a lot of money in taxes that just found out that money's going to terrorists. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. All right. Unfortunately, the United States government has a long history of questionable spending when it comes to American taxpayer dollars. For instance, a report out from the Federalist this week reveals that Biden authorized $4.6 billion of new furniture to be purchased and put into buildings that nobody's working in. You guys, they wouldn't give Trump $5 billion to build a wall to keep out illegal immigrants, fentanyl, cocaine, human trafficking, children trafficking, diseases, terrorists, criminal gangs, murderers, rapists. They wouldn't give him money to build that wall. But now we find out that they spent almost $5 billion to furnish buildings that are empty. It's asinine. Now, according to the organization Open the Books, the spending spree included $182,000 on plexiglass and $237,000 on solar-powered picnic tables. What is a solar-powered picnic table? I don't even know what that is. Like, does it glow in the dark? Like, it charges all day from the power of God's sun, and then what? It glows at night? Like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, a 2023 Government Accounting Office report found that 17 of 24 federal agencies were using just 25% of their office space. So almost $5 billion for new furniture in empty offices. For those unaware, the GAO report are meant to give Congress timely, fact-based, nonpartisan information that can improve the government and save taxpayers money. What do members of Congress do? Like Nancy Pelosi, they rip it up and then do whatever the hell they want, including pet projects, sending money to the terrorists, giving Zelensky more money for cocaine. So crazy. All right, Doge continues to find irregularities that are costing money. In regards to previous bad money management, a preliminary survey by the Department of Government Efficiency has revealed alarming irregularities in unemployment insurance. The survey identified 24,500 claims from individuals over the age of 115. All right, so they're stealing our money through Social Security. Now they're stealing our money through unemployment insurance. 28,000 children under the age of 5, an amount of $254 million of fraud was discovered. What 5-year-old is collecting unemployment insurance. That doesn't sound right to me. In a post over on X, Elon Musk stated the oldest living American is 114 years old. So it's safe to say that anyone 115 or older is not alive collecting unemployment. They are dead. There was no sanity check for impossibly young or impossibly old people collecting unemployment insurance checks. Your tax dollars are going to pay fraudulent unemployment claims to fake people that were recently born or people that somehow never die. This is crazy, and I had to read this report several times before it sank in. That was Elon Musk. You guys do not click off. I know this can make you mad and you go to hell with it. I'm never watching this, but you got to know this stuff. That way you can talk to your representatives. That way you can vote correctly. These guys, there needs to be arrests. People were stealing our money, and they've got to check that. They've got it. Like, listen, if you've got, let me go back up. If you've got 24,500 people over the age of 115 that are collecting a check every month, go to 24,500 houses and start arresting people. If 28,000 people who are children under the age of 5 that are collecting $254 million, all you have to do is go to 28,000 houses, prove that you exist. Oh, wait a minute, you've been cashing checks, and start arresting people. But the Democrats don't want this. They want you to believe that Donald Trump manipulated the stock market to make Don Jr. wealthy, instead of discovering the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of people collecting fraudulent checks to the tune of billions and billions of dollars every 30 days. All right, let me share something kind of cool with you, because sometimes I just get so sick and tired of all the government corruption. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is gearing up for a bold Mars mission by late 2026, with the Starship spacecraft set to carry his new Optimus Explorer robots to the Red Planet. He doesn't want to send humans just yet, right? These robots, designed by Tesla, will go to Mars and scout the Martian terrain, collect critical data, lay groundwork for future human settlement, aligning with Musk's vision of multiplanetary civilizations. The mission marks a significant leap in the U.S. space program, showcasing advancements in reusable rocket technology, autonomous robots. However, it sparks debate over feasibility. Given the harsh Martian environment, technical chances, and immense cost, and ethical concerns, including potential contamination of Mars and the prioritization of resources over Earth's own pressing issues, while supporters see it as a historic leap forward, others say, wait a minute, this might actually be bad. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's probably smart to send human-like robots to Mars before you send human-like humans to Mars. But let me know, is this cool? Is this exciting? Is this a waste of money and time, or a future disaster in the making? I would like to hear from you guys. I personally think it's kind of cool. Is it going to be taxpayer money? I don't know. I don't know at this point. All right, some international news. U.S. military operations in Yemen are draining munitions critical for countering China in the Asian Pacific area. Defense officials warn that Trump's administration's $1 billion bombing campaign against the Houthis forces is depleting long-range weapons like Tomahawks, which are essential for protecting Okinawa, Guam, and America. With 2 aircraft carriers and B-2 bombers deployed to the Middle East, Pentagon leaders, including Trump's ally, Pete Hegseth, have emphasized the need to rebuild the military and the weapons after giving away as much as we did to Ukraine. So we've got to really look into this. We do not want to weaken the strong in an attempt to strengthen the weak, right? So now we've depleted hundreds of billions of dollars in cash to Ukraine. They are losing the war. And now we don't have enough weapons for our own safety and protection. That has got to change, and I hope that it will. So this is something that was brought to Trump's attention, and they will definitely be looking into it. According to the New York Times, last week, the month-long bombing campaign was much larger than initially disclosed. The Pentagon spent around $200 million on munitions, and the total cost was around $1 billion. I don't know if we're ever going to get paid back on that, but I know that they have hundreds of billions of dollars that go through the Suez Canal and then down through the Red Sea. This is why Trump went after the Houthis. But bam, that was an expensive little mini war. Hopefully they're done with that. All right, I just want to thank a couple of people. David Blakely, thank you for the super chat. I'll be getting some tacos. I appreciate that. Jody Samurai, when Steven gets excited. I did. Sorry, man. I got it makes me so mad when they steal our money. I believe that most taxation is stealing. Now that's the libertarian in me. Listen, they don't need to collect this much if they didn't just waste it. Think about it. Democrats were saying we have to raise taxes to cover our bills. Why? Because you misspend our money. So really what you were saying was you need more of our money to continue to behave badly. Hey, thank you so much. It means he needs some tacos. Thank you. I love those little taco emojis. All right. Brenda Spears, praying for you. Thank you. I'm in great health. I got a I'm happy. Got a great wife. Just celebrated 20 years married. Super excited, but thank you. I'll always take the prayers. I love God. I love my family, and I love praying. So thank you guys so much. If you could, there's thousands of you on right now. Please give this video a like. When you hit that like button, it tells YouTube to please share this with others. It helps grow the channel, helps get the truth out so that I can fight back against the mainstream media. I love you guys. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.